Oh, well, hey there. I was just sitting here looking at the past 10 years of my life, wondering what went wrong. Why what everybody else thinks matters so much, and I can't just be an individual. There's two categories, red and blue. If you fall under red, the likelihood is that you're not very liked, except for by other reds. And if you fall under blue, then you have to be the same blue as every other blue, and you guys are very close knit and stick together. Now, we see it a lot. We see people's gatherings being crashed, but this time it's vice versa. I'd say most of the time it's the extremists of whichever side that start the problems, but this time it was Antifa attacking the Proud Boys Spread the Love event, which is so crazy because this wasn't something that was based in hate or even to put anyone down. It was just some positive event. Imagine if they did this to a gay pride parade. Now, like I just said, imagine vice versa. When the right attacks the left, it's always, oh, look at how terrible these people are. But vice versa, they're never in the wrong if they're from the left. I want to show you some clips that just prove that. Also, I'm going to show you some clips that prove the same about the right. I hate how in politics people approach with such a entitled like mindset to where instead of having a debate and instead of using logic and facts, it's more emotional, and it's like to prove a point from the start instead of trying to learn more.
We are told to hate America today. America is racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, all sorts of phobias and various things we're told. But there's a new one on the list, and you might not have heard about it yet. My producer has been getting a lot of these videos. He wants me to react to the new great scourge affecting America, fatphobia. Yes.
Okay, here's the thing.
Catchable.
Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking, or wakes up early in the morning, or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
So why do they always do that creepy, like giggly, really entitled? All of the left.
Now, let's analyze that. YouTube Dr. Cliffy here. But you see, in the beginning, he sounds very dismissive with about ideas that aren't very far-fetched or based in fiction instead of reality. Like racism, you're sitting here acting like you can just dismiss racism or any of these phobias, like trans people aren't getting beat up for being who they want to be. I'm not sitting here trying to scold him, but let's be real. Why is it that the right always tries to dismiss genuine concerns and realities? Now, at the end of that clip, he makes a very interesting point. She does some weird laugh, and that gets me because that's so true about the left. Now, that laugh, it's almost like when you're in distress and you're trying to cope. I feel like people do that voice that sounds condescending when they're 100% like they're trying to make it seem as if it's so obvious or oh everybody knows this, but that doesn't help with the discourse. Both sides are guilty of trying to force a reality, but honestly you're about to see Donald Trump point out something that stands to this day, and you're going to see some clips after that. But before I say that, let me just talk about what was being said. Why is it that having a preference nowadays is bigoted? Why is it that having a differing opinion or differing idea on something is bigoted. We have all heard the argument very recently. If you exclude this group of people, then you're this. Or if you don't find this attractive, then you're this. Alright, here's the next clip. Let's get into the
internet. Let me ask you, do you think that General Patton was woke? I don't think so. What do you think, Mike? Mike, was he woke? I don't think so. I don't think he was too woke. He was the exact opposite. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Everything woke. Everything woke. It's true. Everything woke turns to shit, okay? It's true. Look at what's happening.
Now, if you know me, you know that I hate Donald Trump. But I generally hate people in high political positions of power. They all tend to have the same flip-floppy views and also cater to whoever's going to give me the most votes type of mentality. But I'm not here to talk about Trump. I'm here to talk about what he said. He said that the left constantly, their ideas backfire, and I'm about to show you a perfect example that's just clear cut right here.
Can we please tell us why?
Nope, I don't engage with you or your.
Oh, this is classic, guys. Please get this on camera. This is what white liberal women do. They're 1,000 times worse than Karens. Okay? And I want you to pay close attention. The white liberal women will not engage in conversation with me. Why? Because I do not. Oh, because of who my husband is.
Just to be clear.
So I am devalued. So women matter, right? We don't want women to be oppressed. Women matter. But because of who my husband is, I no longer have value. There she goes. There she goes.
She is now normal. As you can probably imagine, people in Japan are curious what this person means about she is now normal. What's that supposed to mean? And this tweet actually gets over 16,000 likes. Oh my gosh. And if you needed a
Now, look at both of those clips. Trump said that constantly their antics backfire on the left, or at least the more liberal or extreme viewed. Having in the first clip, you see that liberal woman, she legitimately walks away. That's how defeated she is. She's just like, it's only gonna be worse for me if I stand here. Honestly, she did the right thing getting out of there, but she didn't do the right thing in not explaining herself, because now she just looks completely like an idiot. So it's either one of two things: either she is a complete idiot, or the pastor's wife, the preacher's wife, is right, and so was Donald Trump. Now, the second example will be 10 times harder to read into if you aren't well versed in Japanese culture or any of that type of otaku nonsense. But basically in Japan, they have way better diets than Americans, and they are not typically over. Now, that being said, the average American is typically overweight. So this woke Twitter user redraws this and posts it all smug, talking about how she's normal now. But honestly, isn't that what you guys are always saying is wrong cultural appropriation or something like that? Just look at it. It blatantly backfires. It's so obvious right here. Literally cultural appropriation at its finest. They're always fighting that. They're always trying to say, we're gatekeeping this. But then, whenever it comes time to not be ignorant and to apply some logic, it's all out the window from there. These next clips are very interesting. I want you guys to pay attention to these people. These are quite peculiar folks.
This greetings everyone, patriots all across the globe. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I am your daily fake news antidote, offering patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we jump into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this beautiful
the position as a black. So what formed your political viewpoint? Because obviously, taking the position as a black person in America, that racism is not the key factor in American life, or even a key factor in American life. It's a pretty controversial position. Where did you get that from? Because it's a pretty rare position.
I got it from my dad. My father and I didn't get.
Imagine walking into the doctor's office and he greets you with, "What's up, guys?" Like a YouTube intro. Since when was claiming you're a doctor legitimately making you a doctor? I wonder if this guy has a degree or if he's just genuinely calling himself a doctor. And his motto of thinking better so you can live a healthier life, that's just so funny. That's the typical YouTube doctor. I love it. Now, he's obviously one of those fellers that's more aligned with the right than the left, the red than the blue. But let's take a look at the next guy. That's Ben Shapiro. We all know who he is. He says something very interesting. He says that as a black person, to have the mindset that racism isn't the number one problem in America, that's controversial. Now, I don't know what type of black people you've been talking to. I don't know where you got this information from. But this just goes to show that the conservative type, the right, they literally think that like any minority just plays into whatever the most political or liberal or positive view for them would be. Almost as if he thinks we just want to fucking play the victim card all the time. or maybe that's just what he constantly runs into. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. He just pulls that out of nowhere. He's like pulling it out of his fucking ass. He's like, this is very controversial if you're black. Now, lately, we've been seeing cancel culture take away a lot of top stars for things like homophobic comments and bigotry of the past. Let's see this.
Ideology. Believe me.
Talk about a constitutional amendment to ban gay marriage.
You know, think about this. The world's going to Hades in a handbasket, and we're going to debate the next 3 weeks, I'm told, gay marriage and God only knows what else. I can't believe the American people can't see through this. We already have a law, the Defense of Marriage Act, where we've all voted, or I voted and others said, look, marriage is between a man and a woman, and states must respect that.
You know, my feelings about this are constant.
Now, by no means is what I'm saying here to defend Donald Trump. No means. Donald Trump has said horrible things. But let's talk about the statement that we just saw. Joe Biden, the person that all of these libtards are claiming to love and appreciate, just did what you guys will cancel people for and run off of the internet for. Your candidate, Joe Biden, not in his old man, senile, inoperable brain tumor years, not in these years. In the past, he was so against the gays that he created legislation to ban gay marriage. He probably created so many setbacks for the community that you claim to be a part of. Yet, for some reason, he gets to be the president. They dug up all that dirt just to keep presidents that they don't want, or just to get someone from a position that they don't want out of that position. They dig up the most dirt, and it's right here. It's so blatantly in front of you, yet you can just look past it now. I don't understand. It's like in America, you have to pick one of two evils. Like, there's not actually genuinely a good party to be with. You either pick one extreme or the other extreme. If you're in between, then you likely do not like the system that you're forced into, and you would rather it change, but there's nothing you can do because you're born in. Now, this next clip is going to show the political climate. It's gotten to the point where people who conduct their business around research or they study science, they're afraid to even speak their mind because of this whole cancel culture thing. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson is obviously a physicist and a scientist, and Ben, he works in the political atmosphere. But I'm just going to read off the comments to tell you how this whole talk about transgenderism went. If you read the bottom two, pause the video. Basically, there's people in the comment section that are saying they're disappointed in Neil for the way he spoke. But he had to speak like this. If he didn't, he would have been canceled. Someone says it right there. The fear of getting canceled. Honestly, with this out there, and you see these two acting so it's almost like they're trying to dance around the subject as to not say anything that's gonna get them targeted by backlash. It's crazy that they're trying to avoid that. And then it just goes to show that in certain places they will go look for these types of statements, and they will try to make you look bad based on things you said in the past. So with that being said, with that clip from Joe Biden, how is it that you guys can sit here and allow him to be president? What? Now, I got one more clip for you folks before you go, and this one's pretty long, 4 minutes, but just think about what's being said, and think about what I have said. So, the right, they're more based on statistics and more logical thinking. I'd say that the left is more focused on emotions and ethical and moral terms of speaking. So both sides are doing what they deem necessary, but where's the side that's just, where are the regular normal people who are just trying to do good for society at? I watched a man speak some wise words. He said they are trying to take away the whip from the right hand and put it in the left hand. And that was just so eye-opening to me, because it's not that they're trying to take away the whip. They're trying to give power to someone else. Honestly, the power needs to be in the people's hands. So I beg the question, how do we bring about a country that's actually built for the people when you have to elect officials, and you have to elect officials based on values that they have that are similar to yours? How can the everyday person get something that they need across when they have to go through so many processes just to be heard? And when the climate that they speak their mind in, it's just some toxic circuit of people going back and forth with ideas set in the motion as if they're already correct. There's no positive discourse between parties. Now, one arguing point is that if you are in one group, you shouldn't even be trying to speak to the other group, because they're never going to agree. Just like in the beginning of this video, that clip where he says, why do they sound like this? Why do they take this tone? And I said, they already have the mindset that they're correct. That's the reason why they're doing it. That creates an environment where it's almost impossible to have two opposing opinions that are together. Because if I sat there and tried to tell her that she was wrong, she would probably get offended and she would be angry. And then, just look at the tone that she took in the first place. She said adult pre-K, as if it's so obvious and it's so clear-cut that it's like you should be taught in elementary school. But really, the topics are more complex than that. They're more complex than one conversation can even give you the means to try to understand. With all of this being said, I'm just gonna play this last clip and wonder what you guys are gonna think of. I'm definitely gonna make a part 2, and it's gonna be more well thought out and shorter, just so that I can get my points across.
Absolutely nothing. What matters is the way they feel. Rachel Dolezal, a white lady in America, attempted to convince the world that she is transracial. She identifies as a black woman. She even had a position in the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. A white woman convinced herself and the rest of the world that she's black. And she went to work in a black organization. The fact that her genetics indicate that she's European means absolutely nothing. What matters is the way she feels. Now here comes trans age. Emil Rattleband, a 70-year-old man who is now asking the court to change the date on his birth certificate because he feels more in his 40s. The amount of times that the Earth has orbited the sun while he's been alive means absolutely nothing. What matters is how he feels. Now here comes trans-able. People who feel like they should have been disabled. Some of them even try to cut off their limbs and cause themselves harm just to feel disabled. The fact that they are perfectly healthy means absolutely nothing. What matters is the way they feel. Transracial, trans age, and transgender. What's next? Now, before I get called all kinds of phobics, I will say this. Every human on this planet deserves their human rights. I do not wish to kill, harm, enslave, or maim the trans community. But what I am asking is for the trans community to stop the bullshit. Because if you feel this way, that doesn't mean that we should also see you this way. I see myself as handsome. However, if I went to court to force through a motion that all that look at me should call me handsome, well, that's just plain arrogant and egotistical. I'm entitled to my feelings, as are you. But your feelings are about yourself. They should not be my concern. They are your concern. What trans people are asking us to do is to see them the way they see themselves. It's perception. And perceptions are subjective and not objective. Your perception is not our perception. And we are not obligated to call you the thing that you wish to be called. Now, what does the future look like? In my opinion, if we continue along these lines, there will be such blurred lines that we will reach the point of no return. I want us to be very careful because we are raising a generation of very smart young people. And if an adult can identify as a younger person, then the time will come when that younger person now wants to identify as an adult. And hey presto, we will have parents that are now younger than their actual children. The actress Charlize Theron is raising her adopted boy as a girl. She stated that at 3 years old, he said to her, "I'm not a boy." And bingo, she decided to raise him as a girl. Now, I would love for that child, okay, to say to his mother at 7 years old, "I'm not 7, mummy, I'm 54. And see if she now wants to raise him as a 54-year-old man or woman.
Now, this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. For those of you who wanna discuss that last clip or want to hear what I have to think about it, this is pretty much it. I think that he speaks a lot of truths, but almost in a way as to negate one side, which is the trans ideas and the trans mindset. And he speaks in a sense of using facts and relevant information. So I'm not even going to try and discuss the topics that he was discussing, but just the things that he was saying seemed to be very relevant and very truthful. Like, if he basically at the end of the day is saying, if both sides are wrong, if no side can be called right or wrong, then how do you proceed from that point? So if Billy wants ice cream and Johnny wants cookies, who gets what they want? If they have to pick for one, how do you decide who gets what they want? That's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Part 2 will definitely be much shorter and much more composed. Thanks for watching this video. Leave a like and subscribe. What do you guys think about the current scene of our country? This great the country of red, white, and blue. I love America. 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 Fuck yeah. Blowing up stuff and cool explosions. America. Fuck yeah. Did you just see that tap strafe and then I wall jumped over his head? I'm fucking goated.